From Hamilton refusing to sign a contract as of right now to Mercedes not listening to him when designing his car, here's why Lewis Hamilton might leave Mercedes. Look, it's quite simple. Lewis Hamilton's future with the Silver Arrows squad is unclear for now. He's racing for Mercedes this season, of course, but here's the thing. His contract is going to expire at the end of 2023. In case you were wondering, he hasn't renewed it and he doesn't seem super interested in re-signing with the team either. As for Mercedes boss Toto Wolff, yeah, well, if that's how Hamilton's playing, then he's not going after him either. At the same time, Wolff claimed that a contract extension would be a formality. In other words, he's convinced that Lewis is going to stay with the team and that this matter probably isn't urgent enough for the team to focus on right now. Now, here's the problem with that. You see, if this was like the good old times, it would have been quite clear that Hamilton will stay with the German team. But it's not the good old times anymore. We've officially entered the era of Red Bull domination. Mercedes had a poor 2022 campaign and a poor start to the 2023 season. A team that won 8 constructors in a row is now trailing behind Red Bull by a massive margin. 67 points. At the same time, let's not forget that Red Bull has won every single race so far. Lewis stands 31 points behind the current leader, Max Verstappen. And here's the problem with that. Lewis wants to retire as the world champion, and as of yet, that doesn't seem possible with Mercedes. Because of this, he might actually start looking into other teams, which begs the question, what does the future hold for Hamilton? Well, publicly, Hamilton hasn't suggested anything that would make fans believe he's leaving Mercedes. I mean, this guy's been affiliated with the team since he was freaking 13 years old. And even during his 6 seasons at McLaren, Lewis drove cars fitted with power units from the German manufacturer. Now he's in his 11th season with the squad and has kind of become synonymous with the team. At the Saudi Grand Prix, Hamilton stated that he was not thinking about leaving the team. He also claimed that he feels amazing about his future with Wolff. He said, "I've got some amazing allies. I've got great relationships here." Lewis also mentioned that as long as he can help the team, drive them forward, and contribute, he'd like to stay. He admitted that if at some point he starts feeling like he couldn't contribute, he'd step aside so a youngster can take his place. But then again, it's Hamilton. He's in great shape, and he's still one of the best drivers on the grid. In 2022, he claimed that he had 100 more races left in him. That's almost 4 seasons. 5 if he stretched himself out. So honestly, it does seem like he's all set to retire with the team after a couple of years. If you don't take my word for it, hear it from the man himself. "I continue to feel very much at home. It's family. I see myself being with Mercedes till my last days, to be honest," he also claimed. If you look at the legends, Sir Sterling Moss was with Mercedes till the end of the days. So that's been the dream for me to one day have that. So honestly, even when Lewis retires, he's not going to leave Mercedes. Because really, he'll just join in as a brand ambassador or something. On top of that, it seems that Mercedes boss doesn't want Hamilton to leave either. You see, folks, the Austrian has claimed that he's confident his star driver will remain with the team for at least the 2024 season. However, he also admitted that considering just how bad things have been at Mercedes, he'd understand if Lewis joined another team in a year or two. Because you see, the highest number of championships ever won by a single driver is 7. And Lewis has that. Unfortunately for him, so does Michael Schumacher. So he's equaled a record, but he never beat it. And he really, really wants to beat it. This means that Lewis is all set to do everything in his power to win that much desired 8th World Championship. And well, if Mercedes can't be the one to give him the car to do that, then it makes sense he's going to try to find a way out. But even then, Wolff has claimed that he's in no way, shape, or form considering any drivers to replace the Briton. He stated that he doesn't engage in any discussions with drivers whatsoever because there's no point, and that he's happy with his squad. When asked about this, he stated, "At the moment, there is no plan B. It's Lewis." Because here's the thing about Lewis, he genuinely wants the best for the team. So there's no way he would leave the team high and dry. He's the kind of person that's going to let them know beforehand, and he might even offer to train the new driver, or offer to train George to take leadership of the team. Toto is quite sure that Lewis will never let the team down, or that he'll never let the team alone. Toto doesn't want Lewis to leave, and Lewis doesn't want to leave. So why is there so much speculation? Well, that's because the contract still hasn't been signed. But when you look at Lewis's previous contract extensions, it doesn't seem like a really bad thing. Well, his current contract was signed in February 2021, but it was only signed till 2022. In July 2021, they added a 1-year extension. His 2018 contract was signed in July, and his 2015 contract was signed in May. It doesn't seem like we have to start worrying about the entire ordeal till summer break is passed. If by then a contract hasn't been signed, we could be in trouble. So in that nightmare scenario, where would Lewis go? Well, the only team that's truly capable of giving him a championship-winning car right now is Red Bull. But you gotta remember, Lewis and Red Bull have been bitter rivals for almost a decade now. There's no freaking way Horner would let him in the team, because he literally claimed that he's happy with his driver situation and he doesn't see where he could accommodate Lewis. Plus, come on, be real. Max is Red Bull and Red Bull is Max. There's no way they're letting him go. At the same time, there's no way that Lewis would be okay being a second driver to the Dutchman, so that's just not happening. Then we have Ferrari, and well, both its drivers, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, are contracted until the end of the 2024 season, so he's not going there anytime soon. Plus, Ferrari's got its own issues, reliability, politics, and a shift in management to name a few. Even this time around, it's quite clear that Scuderia isn't performing up to the mark. This season so far, Ferrari actually stands behind Mercedes. So while Lewis has been extremely helpful to every team that he goes to, the mess at Ferrari is just too big for him to clean up. And even if he somehow miraculously cleans it up, it'll be too late and he'll have to retire. So what are we left with? Aston Martin, because you see, all of a sudden, Aston's become the second best team on the grid. Like literally all of a sudden, from P7 in 2022 to P2 in 2023, the team has done the impossible. That was partly because the team hired a guy from Red Bull that worked directly under Adrian Newey. So they basically built a car that's similar to Red Bull. But look, here's the thing. The team is owned by Lawrence Stroll. Does the last name ring a bell? Of course it does. He's the dad of Lance Stroll, the Aston Martin driver, so there's no way Lewis could take his seat. Okay, fine, Alonso's seat? Well, Alonso signed until the end of the 2024 season, so that's not happening either. So really, as it stands, the only teams that have an opening for 2024 are AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, Williams, and Haas. And Lewis is not becoming an 8-time world champion with those guys. So the only thing that makes sense right now is that Mercedes focuses on improving its car, because 2022's W13 was trash, and so is 2023's W14. Honestly, makes no sense that the team didn't ditch its minimal side pod design. Like, guys, it doesn't work. Let it go. Anyway, the difference between the W14 and the RB19 is so staggering that an F1 commentator compared it to Formula 1 versus Formula 2. But I just explained the entire situation to you. Getting Mercedes to improve its car is literally the only choice Hamilton had. This is interesting because Hamilton revealed that Mercedes didn't listen to him over the design of the car. You see, he told them that the seating position wasn't right and that the concept wasn't right, but the team refused to listen to him, and they made whatever they wanted. However, Toto has acknowledged that the squad messed up, and that Lewis's input will definitely be listened to in the future. Fingers crossed that Mercedes can finally build a solid car, because we all really want to see Hamilton win that 8th world championship, don't we? So from Mercedes absolutely not listening to him when designing its car, to Hamilton refusing to sign a contract right now, this was everything on why Lewis Hamilton might leave Mercedes.